Back on the EVS3000, this is for the fourth part to this installment where I'm going to tackle the time-based corrector. Now, if you watched the last one, we pretty much nailed it down to the TBC. That's the last thing that needs to be repaired. I got 35 caps to replace this one, and we'll see how well it works. Let's check it out and get this one put to bed. So this is part 4 for the EVS3000. We already know that the fault is in the time-based corrector. In this episode, I'm going to change all of these surface-mounted caps. I'm going to put conventional leaded caps in. I've got some low profiles. Should be able to get them all to fit in here. A little bit of coaxing. I've done it before with conventional caps, so I'm going to do it again. We're going to replace all the caps on this unit, and then we'll test it out and make sure that the unit's functional. If you haven't seen parts 1, 2, and the update, please go back and watch them, because that will show you all the problems that this machine had, which is, of course, this machine here. You'll get to see all the problems we had in the power supply, and we'll get to see all the problems that I had in the, well, mostly power supply, but power supply, and do some work on the tape transport as well a bit. Got the front panel buttons working. Front panel buttons were all doing the wrong function. So we got all that taken care of, and we were able to prove that the video problem is in fact indeed the time-based corrector, and that was done by applying heat to a couple of these caps that are most certainly bad. So I've gone and got a bunch of parts. Got a whole bunch of them here, bags full of parts. We're going to replace all the parts on here and get this unit functional again. So this one can go back to its owner, because the fellow lives in Portland, and I haven't even talked to him yet. I sent him an email, let him know where he stands on this one, but I figured I would end up repairing it anyway, because, you know, I guess if he doesn't want it, I'll be keeping it. But it's a machine that I think is certainly worthwhile repairing. These machines are quite rare, and you know, it's we'd have no problem getting this one into a new home. If the guy didn't want to fix it, he could turn around and sell it, for that matter. But anyway, I've put a lot of work into it so far, so we might as well just finish it up and get it going. The amount of time that's been spent on this unit is quite a bit, several hours so far, and there's a few hours more left to get this going. So let's get started. So I've turned off some of the lights in here to try to eliminate glare, just to make it a little easier to see on camera what I'm doing. We're going to use the cut and replace technique to do this. It's not that, I mean, some people will recommend twisting them off, but the problem is if they've leaked, it could have damaged the board, and that's a good way to ruin the board. So the safest way is to just actually cut the cap off, and then you can, while holding down the base so that the pins don't pull through, you can lift off and break the little plastic base and not put any undue stress on the board itself. Now I've got a nice clean cut, and I can go in here and use my soldering iron. I'll make sure I've got a fair bit of solder on the tip here, just so that it's wet, and the pins will just lift off. So I can just lift this off. And get the new one prepped to install. Now I got, most of these are low profile. I got the lowest profile I could get, but not every size was available in the low voltage, so a few of them are a little bit taller, but I think that if I bent them over, they should fit in here, no problem. Maybe a little bit trickier to get some of these 10s in, but I think we'll get them to seat in here, no problem. Now, interested in keeping the video a kind of reasonable length, I obviously is not going to be showing changing every single cap. I'll run the camera intermittently as I do this. I'll show changing a few of them, and then we'll set the unit up because I don't want the video to drag on for hours. I know some people like to see videos that are really, really long, but others don't want to see ridiculously long videos. Should be able to get this one to sit in here and then bend it over once it's in place. Next one I need is a 10. I've got some small, really low profile 10s, I think. Yeah, here's some 10s. So these ones will go in no problem because they're, you know, they're not much bigger than the, if any bigger than the original ones. So these little ones will go in here quite nicely, which is nice. Next one's a 47. I'm just going to go one end to the other and collect all the caps I need as I'm doing them. I know I got some 47s here somewhere. There they are. So one. As I proceed, I've got 12 of them now changed. I'm working my way from one end of the board to the other, and then once these are all done, I can just bend them over, get them underneath the cover. The cover should fit on here no problem. I've been on it now for probably half an hour to 40 minutes changing these. I got probably another half an hour at least, or maybe a little longer, just to do the remainder. And then we can put it in the put the unit back together and see what happens. So we got another 47 at 47 microfarad down here to change. Have not had any traces lift yet, which is good, because that's always a concern, is that when they've leaked, they've corroded and taken away a trace. And again, that's why I don't do the twist off like some of the guys do. And you know, there's one fellow that I'm not going to mention his YouTube channel, but I think you guys all probably know who I'm referring to. He's a local guy, likes working on a lot of tube stuff, and he did a video on changing out surface mounted caps a few years back. And anyway, that's how he did it, was he just twisted them off. And yeah, you can get away with that most of the time, and then one time you won't get away with it, and that'll be the time that it lifts a trace. And people have suggested that, why don't you just do the way that so and so does it? Well, because I've had traces lift in the past on me. I had that happen when I was working in the business, when we were changing these stupid caps on some camcorders that people were insistent on repairing, even though they were told they weren't worth fixing. This is going back to the 90s, right? But that was a technique that I was showed way back when I was in the business on how to remove them easily. I was also shown this way: cut them off and remove the pins, as being a safer way of doing it. And this is the way that I do it, just because I don't want to damage the board. Well, if you damage a trace, it's a hell of a lot harder to fix once you've damaged it. Next one's a 100 microfarad, so I got to get a bigger one here. Just heard today that saxophonist Wayne Shorter passed away at 89 years of age. For anybody who listens to jazz, they will know who Wayne is. He will live on in his music as one of the greatest saxophone players probably of all time, especially as a improvising musician, and was very big in the bebop and fusion jazz, and he was one of the founding members of Weather Report. Came as quite a shock today. I guess that shouldn't come as quite a shock though, because a lot of the old jazz greats are getting up there, and you know, we can at least appreciate what they did for the art that they created. I just heard that now on the radio. They just talked about it when I was off camera there. Something else I also highly recommend if you're going to be working on stuff like this is, before you pull parts out, take a photograph. Take a high resolution picture, or take your video camera if you're going to record your progress. But make sure you take a good high resolution picture so that if you're removing caps and you forget what value you just cut out, you can go back and look at the picture. That way, if you've taken out more than one, like sometimes I'll take out 2 or 3 of them at a time, and if you forget which one went in which order, you can always refer back to your recording or your photo. Very important when you're working on this type of stuff, especially if you're going to take out more than one at a time. I'm doing some of these, I'm doing 1 at a time, others I'm doing 3. So for example, this is the 47 and a 1 and a 3.3. I might cut all 3 of them out at once and then put it in the back and say, well, which one was which? So I've got a recording of it so that I can go back and refer to it if I were to forget. Normally that won't happen, but you know, you can get distracted. You can take one out and all of a sudden all the phone rings, or someone comes to the door, or you know, or you get a text message or something, and then you stop what you're doing and you come back and, which one was that I just took out? So it's a good idea to always have a recording or at least a photo of the board before you started so that you know what goes where. Alright, I'm down to the last 47 microfarad cap to come off this board. Cut that one out. Haven't had any issues with any traces or anything lifting yet, so I think I did okay on this one. Watch this one peel the trace, right? Wouldn't that be the ultimate in fails? No, that's not going to happen, but I've had pretty good luck of rebuilding these boards this way without the need of a hot air station like some say you need. You don't. And whether that would speed things up or not, I'm not so sure. The problem when you're dealing with hot air is that, well, other parts that are in the vicinity can just blow off. So at least even if I was dealing with SMDs, I wouldn't be using hot air, just because you got to worry about other components detaching from the board. I would still be doing it with an iron, just like I'm doing now, even if I was working with SM caps. And part of the reason is I know how to work a soldering iron. Okay, so that's good. Now I can put the top on here again, and the top cover should fit on here without any issues. There we go. So now time to reinstall the unit back into the VCR and see if I get a picture, which I should. Go. Goes in like that and plugs in down here onto this connector. Make sure the other board's plugged in, and we'll plug in this connector here on the back. And just get a couple screws in place to hold everything together. And one screw down here, and then I got the plastic clip that holds the unit together. Wherever I did with it, I've got everything in a little jar here. Because this unit's been sitting here for a month or so. I've been working on it and other things, trying to get everything all taken care of here, but sometimes I have to set things aside and take other priority units because I just don't have a lot of room to store a lot of stuff, but I got stuff that's coming in faster than I can fix it, which is pretty amazing considering I'm not even really in the business, but I get stuff sent to me from all over the place. I picked something up today as well. So let's hook this up and see if I get a picture. Remember the last time I ran this thing, the color bars were just horrible. Color bars are looking good. But will it play a tape? The answer to that question is yes, it will. A little bit of an alignment issue. We can tweak that pretty quick. Looks to be the entrance or the exit guide is off just a smidge. I'll grab my adjustment tool for this. I have a tool that will let me tweak that. If I can find it. Damn, that looks pretty good, considering how bad it looked before, considering it didn't have a picture before. Let's just see the guides here to see if I can tweak them a bit. Oh, you know what? That's interference from the plasma when I stick my hand there. I should probably look at this on something other than a plasma. Let's hook it up to the CRT set. That looks a little better. Yeah, that's just the camera seeing the lines on the screen, because it's such a high resolution camera that we're seeing the CRT, that pattern you see there. That's just because the CRT is not lined up with the camera. But hey, it's working. Excellent. Time-based corrector is on. It's processing the picture, and the picture looks fantastic. So this one's fixed. I can go ahead and put this one together now, and then we'll put it on the plasma once I've got all the shielding and stuff in place. But this one's looking good. Probably look fine on the plasma too, as long as I don't get my hand near the head when it's running. Those lines at the bottom of the picture, that's not a problem. Watch what happens if I take my hand and I move it near the head. You see, that's just the plasma TV interfering. So once I get the top on it, that should go away. So there it is with the bottom cover on now. I'm going to make a record. I don't have the top on it yet, so I can probably still get a bit of interference when I burn my hand in there. But the bottom cover's on now, so I'm getting some shielding around the preamp. Plasma doesn't appear to be interfering with it now. I'm going to do a recording. We'll do a recording, and I'll just record some color bars, and I'll pipe some music in to the audio so that we've got sound to record. Okay, I'm going to record some color bars, and we'll record some music from my music player. Alright, let's play it back. Here's playback, and the music should start momentarily. There it is. There's the music playing. So there's the standard hi-fi track, and I'll switch to the PCM track momentarily here. Glitches on the tape. There's the PCM track. That's damaged tape, right? The whole tape's got a lot of dropouts, as you can see. There's the digital soundtrack playing. Oh, if I get my hand near it from the plasma interference. I bring my hand near the head drum. Anyway. That's me, by the way, getting my hand in here. Yes, and this tape's got some creases and crap on it because it's a very old tape, but it is recording. If I go back to my other tape that's not damaged, you'll see that it plays fine without any glitches. It's just the other tapes got a bunch of dropouts and stuff on it. So this one's fixed. I'm happy. That looks good to me. The picture quality looks fine on this. So I'm going to call this one a success. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. A little beep beep there. Yeah. All right. Catch you later. Bye.